Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, yesterday I was going to do a live stream about the State of the Union, but last night I fell asleep. I was watching the State of the Union address, got into like 30 minutes of it and fell asleep. And this morning I watched the rest of the State of the Union address, and I plan to do my commentary here on this channel, New Possibilities, probably during my lunch break today. So y'all look out for that. I hope y'all can watch that, and I want to hear from y'all. What did y'all think about the State of the Union address? So look out for that video. Again, that'll be sometime during my lunch break today. But for now, I want to talk about some black YouTube news. I'm probably going to create a whole series called Black YouTube News, especially when I get my green screen popping. So y'all got to look out for those. But in black YouTube news, Cynthia G did a video that I saw yesterday, and she was talking about how Umar Johnson posted one of her videos and basically summarized her video from what I understand. And the video was about Tariq Nasheed and him talking about how if a black man is going to be with a biracial woman, he needs to get a biracial woman who has a white mother and a black father, as opposed to a black mother and a white father, you know. And he was talking about how in a situation where it's a black woman and a white man, is a situation where the black woman is tricking or something like that. And, you know, he was basically suggesting that white women make better mothers, that they're more classy and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, Cynthia G did a video where she had already like summarized some of the things that Tariq Nasheed was saying. And instead of Umar Johnson just posting the actual video of Tariq Nasheed making those particular statements, he decided to post Cynthia G's video, thereby bringing her into this whole conflict between Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson. And she didn't appreciate that, and she did her video talking about how it was petty and how these guys, you know, behaving, you know, how Umar Johnson's behaving like one of these beta male simps and all that kind of stuff. You know, basically dissing them, you know, saying that these guys are too old to be acting like this, you know, saying that they were both being immature because, you know, this beef between these guys happened quite some time ago, but they're still going back and forth with each other. Especially Tariq. I mean, Tariq has this meme, you know, he has this little goofy walrus puppet where he's imitating and mocking Umar Johnson. And Tariq, man, as y'all all know, he's a hilarious dude, man. He's funny as hell. He should have been a comedian instead of a fake black power advocate. But anyway, so he's been going back and forth like with memes. You know, he's had all these memes. You know, he has this little puppet where he's clowning Umar Johnson. He has these little clips from like movies like The Temptations and The Four Heartbeats, basically comparing Umar Johnson to like the lead singers of these groups that get all egotistical and think that everything is about them and all that kind of stuff. So they've been going back and forth, man, for quite some time. So this is the latest thing that happened, you know, where he's posting it, where Umar is posting this video from Cynthia G, taking shots, using that video to take shots at Tariq Nasheed. And basically Cynthia G is saying she doesn't appreciate it. She didn't appreciate that, and all Umar Johnson had to do was just post the original video that Tariq Nasheed did instead of drawing her into the conflict. So, you know, she was complaining about that and, you know, complaining about Umar Johnson because of that. And she was just talking about Tariq Nasheed and his whole disrespect of black women, you know, using that example. For those of you who haven't seen her video, I'll post a link in the description box so that you can watch it. But I think that while she's complaining about being drawn into this conflict, she's making the situation worse by even commenting on it. You know, because now both of these guys are going to have issues with her. Tariq's going to have issues with her because she's dissing him by talking about this whole, his hypocrisy. You know, he is a hypocrite in a lot of ways. You know, he talks all this black power stuff, and then you got videos of him talking about these biracial women and how the better biracial woman is one with a white mother, suggesting that white women are better mothers. And as Cynthia G pointed out, she talked about how these white mothers were the ones that raised the white supremacists and all that kind of stuff, the same white supremacists that lynched black people and killed black people. But yeah, so that she called out his hypocrisy and all that kind of stuff. So he's gonna be upset with her. And then she called out Umar Johnson for bringing her into this conflict and for being petty and stuff. So neither one of these guys are gonna be satisfied with her. And they may drag her into this even further. You know, they may insult her, and this may get worse than what it is. So, like, if she was really just about, like, staying away from the drama, she wouldn't have even brought this up. She would have just ignored the fact that Umar Johnson posted that video. But I could understand, like, why she would respond, because he is, after all, a public figure. You know, he's well known, and a lot of people follow him and all that kind of stuff, and it brings like negative type of attention to her channel, and I get that. And you know, it brings me to this whole thing about Tariq Nasheed and his hypocrisy. You know, first of all, I don't think Tariq Nasheed is really sincere. Like, I don't think that he's some sincere black nationalist or anything like that. I don't think that he's a black nationalist. You know, I don't think that he is really like some sincere activist for black people or a black leader. First of all, he denies being a leader. You know, he disclaims leadership all the time. You know, so he's made that clear. He openly advocates, you know, supports, doesn't have any problem with interracial relationships. You know, he made that clear on his interview with Jesse Lee Peterson. So for him, he's not really a black nationalist. I think that he is all about money. You know, he is all about making his paper, and he sees that this right now, this whole pro-black thing is a good hustle right now. There's a lot of interest in black history and all that kind of stuff, and you have the rise of Hotepism, for lack of a better word. So he's capitalizing on that. He's cashing out on that, just the way he cashed out on the whole black relationship thing. And he tried to be a rapper at one point. So he's doing multiple things as a way to make money. And I don't knock that. I don't knock somebody having a hustle. But let's be for real. We just got to understand that he's not some real black activist. You know, that's abundantly clear, you know, just from his content. So I'm not surprised by those statements. In fact, you know, somebody else had put out those statements that he made about white mothers and stuff like that. The sister Nasheed for You did a video a long time ago talking about that. So it's not new information. This whole thing with Tariq Nasheed is nothing new. But yeah, I just think that overall, I'll just say this, man. I just think that if Cynthia G really didn't want to be a part of the drama, she shouldn't even mention that, you know, shouldn't even mention the fact that Umar Johnson posted her video, and you just left it alone. Like, if she was sincere, you know, that's what she would have done. But, you know, I get it. I mean, I understand why somebody would respond, but let's not pretend like you're above the drama when you're all wrapped up in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is like the second example of drama with this guy, Tariq Nasheed. I mean, the first example was with that, you know, when he fired one of his co-hosts on that ISM program and stuff like that. You were all up in the mix of that conflict and stuff like that. So let's not play holy. Let's not play like you're above, you know, the pettiness and the drama and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and before I close out, I just want to touch on one thing about Cynthia G's channel. Like, a lot of people have been saying that she had got kicked off of YouTube. So you had quite a few people saying that her channels have been terminated and this and that. But it turns out her channels are not terminated. She's just decided to put most of her content on her Patreon so that she could, you know, screen out trolls and all that kind of stuff, and just have her sincere, devoted followers on her material, you know, because she thinks, I guess she obviously thinks that if people are required to pay to watch her content, they're not going to be trolls. Like, a troll would have to be really sick to pay to watch something that they don't like. You know what I'm saying? To pay so that they could troll something. You know what I'm saying? So it's a smart strategy in terms of weeding out the trolls. But I'll say this, man, like, I'll just share my couple of thoughts about this whole thing. First of all, I don't have any problem with somebody making money on YouTube or making money through their commentary. I don't have a problem with that. You know, as you all know, my channel is monetized, and I do have super chat, and I do accept donations to my channel, so I don't have any problem with that. My only problem becomes when that's your sole motivation, when your sole motivation is to make money instead of having a genuine desire to liberate black people. Because when that's the case, you will say and do anything just to get views, just to get you know, money and stuff like that, even if you don't truly believe it. And at that point, instead of being an activist, people become entertainers. So that's my big concern with that. I mean, if people want to just, you know, pay to watch her content, then good for them, you know, and good for her or whatever. That's fine. But I don't think that, you know, overall, I don't think that people should have to pay for information that's valuable, information that's supposed to liberate and empower the people. I don't think that people should necessarily have to pay. I think that people should have the option to do so, but, you know, it shouldn't be a situation where you have to pay in order to hear some important information. There are certain incidents where, you know, situations where it may be appropriate. You know, I understand that people get honorariums and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any problem with that. But just imagine Malcolm X saying, I'm not speaking to the people unless they get a subscription to my channel. Or I'm not going to do this or that unless I get paid to do it. Or even a Martin Luther King, you know, and other people like a Huey P. Newton or Bobby Seale. And, you know, this whole approach just makes it clear to me that today's generation is not as devoted or as sincere when it comes to black liberation. You know, often people are about making money. I mean, I cited the example of Tariq Nasheed. And in many ways, when people put their content solely on, what's that site? Solely on that site, Patreon or whatever, they're making it clear that they're about the money. And also, somebody shouldn't be afraid of having their viewpoints challenged. You know, you shouldn't be afraid of that, man. I mean, it's one thing to troll. I think the trolls are a problem. And I do think that people should eliminate trolls. Like, elimination of trolls, I don't have no problem with that. You know, as this other YouTuber says, you know, LA troll lives don't matter. So I don't have a problem with people blocking and banning trolls. I do it all the time. But, you know, that's quite different from preventing people from sharing opposing views and challenging different ideas that are presented with information and sound arguments. You know, I think that people should be open to debate and full discussion, you know, but when you create an environment where only people that can have access are those who are your fans and groupies, that creates a echo chamber where ideas don't get challenged, where you just have followers and worshipers instead of a real dialogue. So those are my thoughts, man. Tell me what y'all think. This is the first edition of Black YouTube News. Peace.